Be honest with yourself. How many notebooks have you filled with plans you never actually executed? How many perfect routines have you color-coded in Notion, only to abandon them 3 days later? We live in a world obsessed with preparation. You watch another tutorial. You read another self-help book. You tweak your morning schedule for the 10th time. And in that moment, as you check off the box that says Design Weekly Goals, your brain releases a sweet, comfortable hit of dopamine. You feel productive. You feel like you're moving forward. Except, you're not. You are stuck in the illusion of progress. Psychologists call this productive procrastination, the dangerous habit of using planning as a shield to protect yourself from the fear of actual execution. You tell yourself you're just getting ready, but getting ready has become your permanent state of being. You are living your life in draft mode, waiting for an ideal moment, an ideal plan, or an ideal version of yourself that simply does not exist. Centuries ago, a samurai did not spend months drawing elaborate diagrams before stepping onto the field. They understood a fundamental truth. No plan survives the chaos of reality. Clarity comes from movement, not from staring at a blank canvas. If you are tired of watching time slip away while you stand on the sidelines of your own potential, it is time to burn the blueprint. We are throwing away generic productivity tropes and filtering your mindset through 5 ancient Japanese principles. These 5 habits will systematically destroy your analytical paralysis, force you out of waiting mode, and bridge the gap between thinking about a life and actually living it. Stop preparing. It's time to start. Habit 1. Wabi-Sabi, the power of the ugly start. To understand why you cannot start, you must first dissect the dark side of perfectionism. Perfectionism is not a mark of high standards. It is a sophisticated, self-imposed armor. It is your ego whispering that if you cannot produce a masterpiece on your very first try, you shouldn't produce anything at all. So you retreat into safety, hiding behind endless planning, endless research, and endless revision. The ancient Japanese culture developed a powerful antidote to this exact mental trap: Wabi-Sabi. In traditional Japanese aesthetics, Wabi-Sabi is the profound appreciation of beauty that is imperfect, impermanent, and incomplete. It is seen in the weathered grain of an ancient wooden temple, the rough texture of a handmade tea bowl, or the asymmetrical balance of a bonsai tree. Wabi-Sabi accepts a fundamental law of nature. Nothing lasts, nothing is finished, and nothing is ever truly perfect. When you apply this philosophy to action, it radically shifts your relationship with execution. It grants you unconditional permission to make the ugly first draft. Imagine a Japanese ceramic master standing before a slab of raw cold clay. A novice sits and stares at the block, paralyzed by the fear of creating an ugly vessel. They draw diagrams of the ideal vase, calculating every angle in their head. But the master simply plunges their hands into the wet mud. The initial shape is lopsided, uneven, and crude. But it exists in physical reality. And because it exists in physical space, it can now be shaped, smoothed, fired, and elevated. Your color-coded schedules and digital outlines are like staring at that untouched clay. They remain pristine only because they haven't touched the messy friction of reality. An imperfect video, a flawed first chapter, or a clumsy 10-minute workout in the real world is infinitely more valuable than a flawless concept trapped inside your imagination. Failure to execute is almost never caused by a lack of vision. It is caused by an intolerance for imperfection. If you want to shatter analytical paralysis, you must deliberately lower your standards for the very first step. Write the terrible sentence. Record the awkward audio track. Build the ugly prototype. Embrace the raw wabi-sabi of new beginnings. Perfection is a wall that keeps you trapped. Imperfection is the door you walk through to build real momentum. Habit 2. Genchi Genbutsu. Collision with reality. Once you give yourself permission to start imperfectly, a second illusion threatens to pull you right back into analytical paralysis. The belief that you can solve all your future problems through pure intellect and planning. You sit at your desk, simulating endless scenarios, predicting every possible obstacle, and building intricate theories about how the world will react to your work. This is mental masturbation. You are fighting imaginary battles inside a vacuum. To break free from this mental sandbox, the Japanese apply a core operational philosophy known as Genchi Genbutsu. Translated directly, it means, go and see for yourself. Originating from the world-renowned Toyota production system, Genchi Genbutsu dictates that you cannot truly understand a problem, a market, or a process by sitting in a comfortable conference room looking at abstracts and reports. To find the truth, you must physically go to the source, the factory floor, the real world, and observe the actual conditions with your own eyes. When applied to your life, Genchi Genbutsu is a ruthless reality check. It asserts a fundamental law. No plan, no matter how color-coded or meticulously designed, survives its very first contact with reality. Your brain loves theoretical planning, because inside your mind, everything works smoothly. There is no friction, no public rejection, no technical glitches, and no awkwardness. But reality is messy, unpredictable, and chaotic. Every hour you spend obsessing over an untested plan is an hour wasted on pure fiction. Stop trying to calculate the future from the safety of your desk. If you want to know if a video concept works, upload a rough draft and look at real viewer data. If you want to know if a business idea is viable, put a basic offer in front of real humans and see if they buy. Action is not merely the result of knowledge. Action is the primary generator of knowledge. The real world will give you more honest, actionable feedback in 5 minutes of real execution than 5 months of theoretical planning ever could. Leave the quiet safety of your imagination. Step onto the field, touch the real ground, and let reality correct your path. Habit 3. Sokko, the rule of immediate action. Once you stop fearing imperfection and step into reality, you face a sneaky, everyday energy drain. Micro-friction. You need to reply to a quick message, find a reference link, or fix a small mistake in a file. What do you usually do? You write it down on your to-do list. You organize it in Notion. You tell yourself, I'll handle it later during my deep work block. Without realizing it, you are building a silent graveyard of unexecuted tasks. Every postponed micro-task leaves an open mental loop in your brain. These open loops continuously consume your cognitive bandwidth, generating a subtle, background hum of anxiety. Over time, your carefully organized to-do list transforms from a helpful guide into a terrifying wall of obligation. To eliminate this friction, Japanese strategy relied on the principle of Sokko, the doctrine of immediate, lightning-fast execution. Sokko operates on one non-negotiable rule. If a task or first step takes less than 3 minutes, it is strictly forbidden to schedule it, plan it, or write it down. You execute it instantly, right where you stand. Need to send a brief update? Do it now. Need to open the blank document and type the title? Do it now. Need to clear your desk surface before starting? Do it now. Sokko treats micro-tasks not as heavy items that require planning, but as brief impulses to be slashed away immediately, like a samurai deflecting an incoming arrow. This habit fundamentally rewires your nervous system. First, it clears the mental noise so your focus remains pure for major creative deep work. Second, it systematically destroys the habit of hesitation. When you train yourself to respond to small triggers with instant action, the psychological gap between intention and execution begins to vanish. You stop negotiating with your brain. You stop asking yourself how you feel about starting. You become someone who moves fluidly from thought to reality without delay. Burn your endless micro lists. Stop scheduling things that take 180 seconds. Master Sokko and slash through hesitation before it ever has the chance to paralyze you. Habit 4. Mitemirai Furi, strategic blindness. Even when you master fast action and stay grounded in reality, a subtle enemy continues to sabotage your momentum, the relentless pull of trivial distractions. As you execute, your environment constantly bombards you with minor fires, irrelevancies, and non-essential flaws. A tiny formatting imperfection in your draft, an unread notification icon, a petty critique, or fluctuating vanity metrics. Your threat detection system treats every single one of these minor details as an urgent emergency that requires your immediate reaction. To protect your cognitive bandwidth, Japanese culture utilizes a profound behavioral concept, Mitemirai Furi. Translated literally, it means pretending not to see. It is not ignorance born out of laziness, nor is it naive denial. Mitemirai Furi is the deliberate, tactical choice to notice a low-value distraction or non-critical flaw, and consciously choose to act as if it does not exist. Your attention is a strictly finite currency. Overthinkers fail not because they lack capability, but because they bankrupt their cognitive energy on details that do not move the needle. They interrupt deep creative momentum to tweak a font, address an irrelevant comment, or panic over early metrics. They allow peripheral noise to dictate their direction. Mitemirai Furi demands that you cultivate ruthless, selective blindness. When you spot a minor flaw in your rough execution that doesn't break the core structure, notice it and pretend you didn't. Address it during polish, not during creation. When a notification flashes or an irrelevant opinion surfaces while you are in motion, look at it, pretend you saw nothing, and keep your hands firmly on the wheel. You do not need to fix every tiny friction point the moment it appears. You do not owe your attention to every stimulus in your environment. Starve the noise by refusing to acknowledge it. Master the art of Mitemirai Furi. Turn a blind eye to trivial distractions, and keep your focus locked exclusively on the core target. Habit 5. Mushin, the state of no mind. You have mastered the ugly start, grounded yourself in messy reality, slashed away micro-friction, and tactically blinded yourself to trivial noise. You are finally, undeniably, in motion. Your project is underway. Yet, one final formidable enemy remains. It is not external chaos, but internal commentary. It is your own ego sitting on your shoulder, constantly watching, judging, evaluating, and calculating your results while you are in the act of doing. To conquer this ultimate mental block, Japanese masters cultivated the state of Mushin. Mushin literally translates to no mind. It is not an empty mind, nor is it mindless ignorance. It is a mind emptied of ego, self-consciousness, deliberative thought, and fear. It is a state of pure, instantaneous mental fluidity where the barrier between the actor and the action vanishes. Think of a master swordsman. If they pause mid-swing to think about the exact angle of the blade or how their form appears to an observer, they are too slow. They have already lost the battle. In the state of Mushin, the warrior does not act on the opponent. The warrior and the opponent become one system. Action flows spontaneously from their years of training, without the lag of conscious calculation. You have felt this state. It is the zone. It is when you are writing so fluidly you forget your surroundings. It is when you are recording audio and your words flow without hesitation, perfectly synchronized with your intent. It is when creativity becomes a purely intuitive, physical act. Overthinking is the constant attempt to be both the player and the referee simultaneously. It introduces massive friction into your work. When you are in Mushin, you are purely the player. You stop negotiating with your internal critic. You trust your instincts. You trust the preparation you have put in. Let go of the need to watch yourself perform. Turn off the internal camera. Quiet the judge. Become the motion itself. Mushin is the flow through which thought transforms into reality without the paralyzing friction of self-judgment. Stop thinking about the act. Be the act. We have covered the warrior's path to executing without hesitation. Let these 5 principles guide your hands. Wabi-Sabi. Embrace the ugly start. Genchi Genbutsu. Collide with reality. Sokko. Act immediately on microtasks. Mitemirai Furi. Cultivate strategic blindness. And Mushin. Become the action. Now you are at a crossroads. Your old brain wants to retreat into the comfort zone of thinking. It wants you to open Notion, grab your color-coded markers, and spend the next hour making a new perfect plan based on what you just learned. Do not do that. Here's the hard truth. If you close this video and go write a new plan, you have already lost. Planning is not momentum. Thinking is not victory. Only execution is real. Lower your standards. Pick one single micro task right now. Close YouTube and do it. And if you are tired of theoretical talk and ready to build a life of relentless execution, subscribe and join the few who actually do. Stop preparing. Be the act.